Hello YouTube, this is Bill Foyer here with East Tennessee Living. I just wanted to go through some updates I just did to my Toyota Tacoma. This is 2017 TRD Pro. And so today I'm going to talk about my Anytime backup camera that I recently installed. Okay, so I did things a little different than a lot of you guys did here on YouTube. And I installed the camera first, and I installed mine, as you can see, under the O and just next to this block. So it's slightly off center, but what that allowed me to do is recess it back. And some of the videos I've seen, it's actually sticking out. So mine is recessed. Okay, so I started here, installed that first, and then I ran my wires. And what comes out of this camera is you'll have a red, a black, and RCA plug. Okay, so what I did with mine is I ran my wires, okay, ran them down through this way, and I actually, after I got all my wiring in, I split loomed everything, wire tied it all in nice and neat, and then ran everything through and then down and over to the rubber grommet. Now I elected to go beside it. I didn't poke a hole through it like I've seen some do. Okay, so coming off this camera, you have your yellow RCA plug, okay, and then there's a little black plug. So obviously you want to, the wires that come through the firewall will just plug those two together. Okay, and then your ground, you put a fitting on it, or a wire connector I should say, and if you can see that screw there, and those three white wires are also ground. They just screw right into the side of the truck there. And then the red wires, there's a red wire also that comes from the long extension cable that comes through the firewall. So you just tie those two red wires together, connect them together. Okay, I've seen some guys take the red wire and go into the fuse box and find a fuse, add a fuse and all that and connect it. There's no point in that. Okay, it's not necessary, because the two red wires, as I say, the one coming from the firewall, they just hook the two red wires together. Okay, and then you come in here to your truck, and I did things a little different there also. I'm not going to show the whole install because there's already so many on YouTube. Okay, so also what I did there is the long RCA cable and the cable that goes to the camera, all that. Again, it's a yellow plug, a small black plug, and the red and the black. So I dropped those down instead of trying to fish everything up through, like I've seen guys tie, you know, a cable to it or something, a stiff wire, and then try to feed it through. I just actually dropped it down above or over the steering column, over the foot pedals, and then down to where you have your, it's dark, sorry about that. Anyway, underneath there's a little carpet there that you pull back and you'll see your rubber grommet. Now I just fished enough of that cord through, just enough to reach the one under the hood there. Okay, so there's a lot of slack left over. So I just neatly tied it all together in a bundle, found a nice stiff wiring harness behind this panel and used wire ties, and I tied that together and, you know, just tied it to a nice sturdy point so everything's behind this panel. Okay, now the other thing, it talks about in the package that the blue and gray wire is not necessary, but I think it depends on the model. But with mine, I actually did use those, and well, you don't have to have the car running to run the camera. But the blue and the gray wire, the gray goes to ground. Okay, and turn this off. So the blue, the gray goes to ground. This is not going to stop. Yeah, so the gray goes to ground. The blue goes to, it ties in. There's a red power goes to this. So that blue goes with the red power. There's a green, and then there's a black. The green also goes to another green power cable. Okay, so now I've got that on, and you can see I cut the wires on the front. There's a green and white, and one is mirrors the camera. That's the back. Okay, so the blue and the gray, as I was mentioning, is for power to your lights on your switch, so that everything lights up. So now there's my camera running. That's front, that's rear. Okay, so I elected just to snip both the wires. There's two wires that come from the camera wire. One's white, one's green. One gives you these lines on it, and one's mirrored. If you don't snip those, you'll actually see opposite in your when you're looking out here. Like if there was a car over here, it would actually look like it's over here. So I cut that because I want everything to look the way it's supposed to be and not mirrored. So that's what I did. A little different, but I do like the camera. It's pretty great. You know, if you're pulling into a parking spot, you know, at Walmart or something, you can actually flip this on, and then, you know, you can see if you're up far enough or too close to another vehicle or what have you. You know, check behind you without having to be in reverse. Okay, but if you do have it in full, the front camera on, and you put it in reverse, okay, now I'm in reverse, it still shows you the front, so you do have to flip the switch off, or in neutral, which is the center position. And if you go in the back position, you're still just going to be in reverse. Okay, so now the switch is in the neutral position. Those two lights go off, but both of them illuminate when you're either mode. Well, actually, just one when you're just in reverse, but for some reason when you're in forward, both are lit. So that's what I did, and I do like it a lot. It definitely comes in handy. But you know, when you're on a trail and you see like rain ruts and stuff, it doesn't really give you the best depth perception of the ruts. You can kind of see them, but the depth perception is really not there. And they gave 2 cameras with the kit, and I did not receive, they don't tell you which ones you're gonna get. It's kind of a crapshoot. So the one I got was just the plain one. It doesn't have, you know, the nighttime lights that you see around the other one. Okay, so that's that. And I do really endorse the Anytime backup camera. I think it's a great option, especially with the Toyota not having a front camera in, you know, the below 19 years. So it does come in handy. And if you like my video and you want to see more, just hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button bottom of the page. And thanks for watching.